ようございます。Welcome to the 11th installment of Okuni Jiman, I love my hometown. これから第11回Okuni Jiman, I love my hometown を開催いたします。実行委員会の増渡辺と申します。どうぞよろしくお願いします。Okay, I'm a member of the organizing committee. My name is Mas Watanabe. Tonight, as the introduction is a little bit different from the other presentations. One thing about our Okuni Jiman style is we do not have a set format. We usually leave it up to the presenters to come up with their own interpretation of what they would like to talk about. ちょっと気づいた方もいらっしゃると思いますけど、ちょっとイントロは今までよりかもちょっと違うもので、これはちょっとプレゼンターさんにお国自慢ということどういう考えを持っているか、それを任せてやっているもので、ちょっと迫力があるものができてしまいました。And tonight, we'll be doing Nagano Prefecture. で今晩は、長野県を紹介させていただきます。で長野県といっても、かなり大きな県でもありますので、今回は、長野県の南部、稲谷の地域にある酒蔵のご紹介をさせていただきたいと思います。Tonight's presentation will be on Nagano Prefecture, and we have Nagano is a huge prefecture. So this time we have going to be focusing on the southern part of the prefecture in the Ina Valley area to introduce a sake brewery there. And this is the 11th one. And as you see in the background here, the red areas represent the areas that we have done so far. And the gray areas are we are still in planning. And right in the middle in purple is the Nagano Prefecture. でここの後ろに書いている通り、赤が今まで我々がやった、紹介した都道府県であり、でグレーのエリアが、これから企画中としてど真ん中にある長野県が、今回の、テーマになります。で、それで今回は、実は、BC 州のデルタ出身で、長年長野県在住であるジャッキー・スチールさんが、ナビゲーターとして、皆さんの紹介します。ジャッキーさんよろしくお願いします。So tonight we have Jacky Steele, who is from Delta, BC, and the longtime resident of Nagano, who will be introducing us to the presentation. Okay, so Jacky, take it away.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mas. And it's such a pleasure to be involved with this event. And I wanted to start out by just a huge thank you to the Japan-Canada Chamber of Commerce. And I'm proud to be a member of the chamber there, as well as affiliated and a governor with the Canadian Chamber of Commerce here in Japan. This event is so exciting. When I learned about this Okuni Jiman project, I was thrilled and wanted to right away get involved. And this has been a most unique way to connect with Takashi Kurogochi down in Ina. And so I just wanted to start off by saying there's so many interesting ways in which the world has become smaller. And through digital connection, we can build goen in such interesting ways, connectedness. And albeit Takashi being down in Ina and me being up in Chikuma City, it's really through the Japan-Canada Chamber of Commerce and through Miki Takabayashi and the chamber connecting me and Takashi here in Japan in Nagano. So thank you for that. And we're so excited to be launching these two introductory Okuni Jiman to the beautiful prefecture of Nagano. So my name is Jacky Steele. I'm a political scientist by training. And I have been doing law, political science, public policy, comparisons of diverse citizenship in both Canada and in Japan, and looking at the areas of overlap and the ways in which we think about democracy and building inclusive society and inclusive community building from grassroots all the way to nation building and international levels. So I landed just a little bit about, why I ended up in Nagano. I am from Delta. And I think it's, interesting to think about, growing up in Delta, near the river Delta on the unceded territories of the Tsuwasan First Nations. And then coming across to Japan and for the first time, being able to have an entry into a local municipal government where I was working here in what was then called Koshoku City and now is Chikuma City. And so I studied Japanese in high school. You know, we were thinking back to the boom when Japanese tourists were coming over to British Columbia, and every day we just talked about the amazing opportunities for Japanese tourism in British Columbia. And of course, that was why Japanese language classes opened up in my high school in North Delta. And thankfully for that, I mean, I was able to have this opportunity to study Japanese in high school at McGill University. And then I wanted to be immersed in Japan, and I got sent to northern Nagano, and this became my hometown of the last off and on 25 years. So since 1997, when I first started working for a local municipal government, and our mandate was to just bring different ideas from Canada about multiculturalism, about gender equality, about LGBTQ inclusion, about whatever it was that we were thinking was mattering in Canadian democracy, to introduce that in my local municipality. So my mayor, who I had the pleasure and honor of working for, was just so progressive. One of those leaders, really, that changes the face of a local community. I moved on to do political science and law, and of course, ended up being an associate professor at the University of Tokyo for 6 wonderful years. And after 7 years in academia in the Japanese National University system, I decided I wanted to be a bridge for broader, business leaders in Japan struggling with the conversations around diversity and equity and inclusion. So launched Enjoy Japan. And it's been a really exciting 4 years of having conversations with business leaders, corporate leaders in Japan, and introducing how we think about diversity and equity as a driver for innovation. And we're going to hear a lot about that in today's presentation, and how Senjo is really making waves in terms of how they're thinking about their workplace, about how they're integrating diverse types of talent, creating a place for different types of individuals in the rural communities of Nagano to belong and contribute their talents, and then how that pays forward into innovative business strategy and innovative products. So I'm excited to now think forward about how we can listen today. We're going to be going on a little tour, not only of Nagano, but also specifically of the Senjo Sake Brewery. So we could have next page, please. Kei-san, 次のスライドでよろしくお願いいたします。So as I was mentioning, just the goen and the connectedness that this Okuni Jiman project has brought Takashi's family and my family together. So we had my family visit the Senjo Brewery down in southern Ina. And then Takashi's family came north and visited us at the Enjoy House, where we have a DEI, diversity, equity, and training retreat space for corporate Japan and corporate companies that want to bring their leaders out for a Canadian-style experience around diversity, outdoor barbecues, and just going back to our roots and grassroots of inaka, healthy rural living, and understanding and discovering the diversity of Japanese-ness. Kei-san, 次のスライドよろしくお願いいたします。So today's trip is, and I hope you'll all get on the plane with me. We're going to fasten our seatbelts, right? We know where the escape exits are on the plane. We're going to cross the Pacific and land at Narita, or you can also land at Haneda. But if you're going to be from Haneda, it would just be a short airport limousine to Shinjuku. And then from there, we can hop on the highway bus for just 3.5 hours, very comfortable. And you go straight across to Ina and then down to Takato, where the Senjo Brewery is located. 次のスライドお願いします。We're going to just think about and why I think as a BCer, how did I end up for so many years? And often people will say to me, and Japanese people will say, so you're from British Columbia, you're from Canada. That's such a really nice place to live. And British Columbia is such a beautiful place to live. Why are you in Japan? And I sort of think, well, Nagano is a really beautiful place to live. And, Japan has also got a lot of commonalities with Canada, both, democratic and law-abiding societies. We believe in public order and civility and, following the rules and trying to create harmony across differences. And Nagano is a very beautiful place to live. It really often makes me think of British Columbia. I think of all of the beauty and the mountains and the rivers and just the the mother nature that we are surrounded with, the 大自然に恵まれてる in both British Columbia and in Nagano. So of course, many of you may know that of course we hosted the Nagano Winter Olympics in 1998. I arrived just a year prior to that and had the pleasure of working for the Olympics on loan from my city hall. We're surrounded by mountains, so Yamaguni in many ways, and many of my friends would mention that, you know, in Nagano, it's like anybody who came from a neighboring prefecture was initially treated as a foreigner, not people from abroad, but people from outside the prefecture. So it is a Yamaguni, but that means that we've had rich traditions of fermentation and preservation of foods and tsukemono. The tsukemono culture here is outstanding.
Oh, God.
Half of the miso is produced in Nagano, and we all love miso. So Nagano has a very healthy lifestyle. Men live to an average of 80 years. Women live to an average of 87. And if you think about the size of Nagano Prefecture and the population density, we're only, the size of Nagano is about 2% of British Columbia, so a much smaller land footprint. But the population density is not that high, and we do have beautiful, beautiful rivers and mountains and greenery. 次のスライドよろしくお願いします。Many of you have seen the famous photos of the Chikokudani Valley, which is Hell's Valley, where the monkey park is. Nagano has high peaks. I'm not going to go through all of these statistics, but very high peaks over 3,000 meters, the highest number in Japan, 85 ski resorts, clean water, and wonderful rice, which means delicious sake, as we're going to hear about more, wineries across the 4 regions of Nagano. So again, just healthy, long life, wonderful balance of work-life culture, I would say, and also just a rich diet in fermentation, tsukemono, rich mountain vegetables, roots, soba, miso, so many things that Nagano has to offer. 次のスライドお願いします。And today we're going to have a very behind the scenes sneak peek where we get to go in to the Senjo Sake Brewery. This map, you can see I'm up north on the blue star, that's Chikuma City. And so part 2 of Okuni Jiman will be the Shinshu Nagano northern region, but today we're doing the southern region. You can see the red star, which is where Senjo Sake Brewery is, and the yellow star is of course Mount Senjo and the Ina Valley of the Alps, the Southern Alps. 次のスライドお願いします。So with that as our reference point, we've now arrived by bus. We're just unloading. Excitement is brewing. And as we now land at the Senjo Brewery, I would like us to be welcomed by the 6th president of the Senjo Brewery, Takashi Kurogochi. And he will take us away into this deep dive and behind the scenes look at what kind of sake, what is the traditions that this sake brewery comes from, and how is this sake brewery charting a next path for the Reiwa era in terms of how they're thinking about innovation. So, Takashi-san, よろしくお願いいたします。
Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for joining Okuni Jiman. Let me share the slide again. Sorry. Let me introduce myself. My name is Takashi Kurogochi. As Jacky-san explained, I live in inner city. I was born in 1976, and I'm now 45 years old. I studied international history in Tokyo and in London. And in 2001, I came back to my hometown and started working for Senjo. And from the year 2009, I became the president. And next slide. Can you see the next one? Let me introduce inner city. There used to be a castle in inner city. Castle Park is now famous for cherry blossoms. And we have old shrines that is more than 1,300 years old. And there used to be a Takato masons, and they traveled all over Japan making stone statues everywhere. We have soba noodle as well. Can you see the next slide? I have a connection to Vancouver. In year 1989, When I was 12, I visited Vancouver for 10 days. I stayed in the school residence of University of British Columbia. In the morning, we had an English class. In the afternoon, we had some sightseeing. We visited Stanley Park, Grouse Mountain, and have a tour. It's very nice to be back in Vancouver online. Both Nagano and Vancouver hosted Olympic Games, and the grouse is a very important bird for Nagano Prefecture because grouse is designated as a prefectural bird, and actually Nagano is the southernmost point of their habitat. The grouse is a symbol of our company, and we use grouse as a on the label as a design. And about Senjo was established in 1866 by Matsujiro, my ancestor. And Senjo is named after the name of the mountain, Mount Senjo. Sen means in Japanese 1,000, and Jo means in Japanese old Japanese scale 3 meters. So Senjo means 3,000 meters. We make so many kinds of products. Of course, we make sake, and we also make amazake, that is non-alcohol natural energy drink. We also make doburoku, that is unfiltered sake. We can mix doburoku with yuzu and strawberry. These products are very popular in recent years. We also make sake-based plum wine and sparkling plum sake. We export our sake to many countries that include Hong Kong, Taiwan, Korea, Australia, Singapore, US, Israel, Holland, and Belgium. As for the ingredients of sake, the very good quality rice is available locally. This man is Mr. Tabata. He makes more than 70% of the rice that we use for making sake. This is a picture of our team. We have 25 employees. And last month, Jacky-san visited our brewery. And we took many videos. And I'd like you to have a look at the video and get some idea how we make sake.
Okay. Here we are in the Sakagura.
Great.
And briefly,
Yes.
I will show you how we make sake.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Excellent.
To make sake, as I said, we need steamed rice and koji. To steam rice, we have many ways, but because we steam lots of rice. This is a machine
Wow.
steaming rice machine.
So big.
Yes.
It's a giant suihanki.
Giant. It's the rice actually moves from this side to that side.
Okay.
It moves
Along.
along. Yeah, it takes like 1 hour.
Okay.
Continuously, we steam large amount of rice, and from that exit, the finished steamed rice is coming down with this conveyor belt.
And it's caught in here.
Yes, yes,
And then it's on the conveyor belt.
yes. Here we cool down the rice, we dry rice, and
Okay.
we separate
Separate the rice.
rice.
Neat.
This is by machine, but at the same time, we have, in case of small amount, a small batch, we have a smaller steamer
Right.
as well. The next, let's go to koji room.
Okay.
Koji room.
Oh, it's chilly.
Chilling, yes, yes.
Oh, it's cold. I'm glad I have my coat on.
This is koji,
Okay.
right? Koji rice.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Okay.
steamed rice.
Yeah. Wow.
Is surrounded by koji microbes.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, it tastes sweet if you. Why don't you try just a small amount? It's just it must taste sweet.
Almost tastes like a grain.
Like rain, yeah. Slightly sweet.
Yeah, after it's got a sweet aftertaste.
But we have another craft koji room.
Okay.
This is a here is a craft koji room.
Wow, look how beautiful. The wood paneling. Oh, smell the
wooden. Yes.
Is it hinoki?
No.
No?
Sugi.
Sugi.
Yes, that was sugi.
Oh, it's a wonderful aroma.
In this room, we can make 150 kilograms. Very small,
Okay.
small amount, but we make a very high quality koji for craft sake. These tanks are 50 years or in their 50s. I
Right,
think.
right.
Which means that in 50 years ago, the consumption of sake was growing.
Ah,
So our company need more tanks.
more tanks.
So we installed more tanks.
Right.
At that time.
That's true. You can chart the growth
Growth.
and the demand of the sake by the years of the tanks. That's really interesting. That's really interesting.
Yeah. Where we ferment sake.
Okay.
The tanks for keeping sake and to ferment sake is different.
Okay.
Okay. This is a fermentation tank.
Mm-hmm.
To make sake, we need 4 days. The first day and the second day is we don't do anything. We just wait for the yeast to
Spread.
spread. And on the third day and fourth day, we add more rice and more koji. So
And then do you mix?
we sometimes mix, but even if we don't mix, it automatically circulate.
Wow. But they're like is there heat that's generated from the fermentation that makes it move?
Yes, exactly. And the shape of the tank, it makes it easier to circulate.
Okay. So it's also in the design of the tank.
Do you know what is why there's a hole?
No.
Any idea?
Do you ever have to drain something? No.
No. For stuff to go inside and wash the tank from.
Oh, you're kidding. So that's for the human being
For the human being.
to hop in.
Yes.
Wow, that's a very small human. Oh. So you have to be a small human.
Yeah,
A small human to get
It's a bit
inside.
smaller than.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
There is a moromi. It's fermenting. So there are some bubbles on the surface.
Wow.
And we can smell ginger flavor. Can you see?
Yes.
Like a green apple. Okay, we have more tanks.
More what? More tanks?
For now we are fermenting something. There are two tanks, and we make dobroku.
Hi.
That's it. Unfiltered sake.
Unfiltered sake.
That is the 6%.
Yes.
You can see. Yeah, this is now fermented.
Oh, wow. Oh, look at the bubbles.
We make dobroku.
Every week.
Okay, thank you for watching the video. Let me explain more about the making of sake. Can you see the slide now? Okay, thank you. To make sake, we start with the brown rice. We firstly polish the rice and steam the rice. You saw the rice steamer. And after that, we make koji with steamed rice. You watch the 2 ways of making koji. And the last part of the video was a fermentation. And let me explain more about koji. Koji is very important. Koji is a mold, but koji rice is a steamed rice that is covered by koji. Why do we have to make koji? That's because koji produces enzyme, and enzyme breaks down the rice starches into sugar. Sugar is fermentable, but rice starches are not. So without sugar, yeast cannot ferment. So we have, as I explained, there are two ways of making koji. Firstly by machine and the other by hand. The machine that we start using from 1984. All the process of making koji is programmed and controlled. We use this machine for making koji for amazake, the broku, because it can be air conditioned. It can operate year round. About the koji room, we start using it from 2017. We use this room for making koji for premium sake. We use this room only in the winter because in the summer it is too hot and humid. About the koji, we have some quiz for the audience. Mas-san, please.
So we're going to just listen to, we've heard about the differences between mass production and we've heard talking about craft production.
Yeah.
So we just want to have a little quiz with y'all to have you test your knowledge, right, Mass?
Mine or everybody?
Well, we could test yours and everyone's. What do you think? Would we invite everyone to maybe put answers in the chat window? Maybe we can go to the slide that has the information about the mass production and the craft production. So we'd like to hear your thoughts. Okay. And if people can start putting your guesses, put mass production, how many are we talking in? Are we talking in liters, Takashi? Are we talking in grams? Takashi, what do you think?
Okay, kilogram.
Kilograms.
How many kilograms?
Okay, kilogram. How many kilograms do you think a mass production makes versus a craft production? So we want you to put two numbers and like a colon between and just start popping that into the chat window. There's no right or wrong answers. Well, there are, but everyone's a winner when you participate. So we just want you to have a guess. It's a little bit difficult to imagine when you look at those big tanks and then try and think about how many kilograms is a large production standard mass production versus the smaller ones for craft. So Mas, maybe you can let us know the numbers as they roll in. We'll give people 1 or 2 minutes to think about, when we're thinking about craft sake, why does it cost obviously more? Because there's a smaller amount produced, different facilities, different investment of human resources to make a smaller amount.
I have a question here. Is it for one batch? How much in kilograms?
Yes.
Okay,
how much kilogram for one batch?
Yeah.
That is a question.
Okay. So I got one from Richard saying 100 kilograms for the machine. Large, and 10 kilograms for craft.
And I'm not surprised that Kyoko Nagano weighed in with that very precise question on whether we're talking one batch, because, she's a sake lovers expert as well, wanting a precise, question of what number are we talking here. So thanks, Kyoko, for weighing in with that question. And thank you, Richard, for the guess. Any other guesses coming in from the audience?
1,000 kilograms, so 1 ton and 100 kilograms.
Lorraine Oikawa, interesting. Okay. Maybe we can have 2 more guesses coming in and then we'll have the big reveal.
1,000 kilograms and 10 kilograms.
From Mike V, thank you.
Bear in mind, 10 kilograms, you could buy them from the supermarket. A bag of rice is 10 kilograms is really not that big. Perhaps it's a little bit more.
Okay, one more guess. One more adventuresome person. 想像力を使ってでっかい1バッチとクラフトの小さい型、どういう影響を与えますでしょうか。どれぐらい出るんでしょうか。
Oh, big smile. That's good. Okay, well, let's see. Let's ask the answer. Yeah, let's get the answer.
Let's have Takashi reveal. If we move forward on our slide, we do have our big reveal. Yeah. I can't retain the numbers because I'm not good at guessing these types of numbers. Hence, I threw it to the audience to have you weigh in.
Okay,
but if we move to forward, yeah, please do.
No,
that's right.
Nati.
Oh,
Oh,
there
there
you
we
go.
go. So nine.
No.
So you were a lot of good guesses. So 900 kilograms. So often we had 1,000 was recurring. Two people said 1,000. So 900 for the mass production of one batch. And then 100. So also some good guesses. Some people said 10 kilograms. Some people said 100. So it is 100. Richard Nagano says he missed it by one digit. So good guesses, everyone, and thank you for participating. When you go in, you see the physical spaces. It's really hard to gauge. For those who are sake experts, of course, I think you have more experience with this. But for me, as just a new arrival and newbie, I just drink the sake. I don't know how it's produced. I just love it and drink it. So very different sizes in terms of what a craft sake looks like. And then, of course, that impacts how much you can think about domestic consumption, having available on the domestic market versus how much you can then set aside and maybe even think about import or export possibilities. So thank you for that, Takashi.
Thank you.
And I think now we want
Jacky-san.
to introduce, we want to introduce some of the beauty of the sake and the different types of production of from Senjo that I had the very distinct pleasure of tasting on site at the Senjo old Kura location and where Takashi's home, where he was born and raised. And I was even introduced to some really rare mizurashi local delicacies that pair really interestingly with the different types of sake that Senjo is producing. So we have a wonderful video, and I'm not going to give it away, but please pay attention to the kinds of things that I had the opportunity to taste in Takata.
This is our old sakakura.
Nice. It's
Yes.
so beautiful. I love the architectural
Yes,
design.
This is in Japanese, namako kabe.
Mm,
Yeah,
So
and black and
beautiful.
white.
it's so pretty. Oh, look at the beautiful.
This is a symbol of sakakura. Actually, you can taste the water.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we used to make sake with this water.
My nose?
Yeah.
So clean and pure. Beautiful.
This is the side of our house.
Wow, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, you can see the ceiling is so high.
So high, and I love the exposed structure of the wood. It's so beautiful.
This house is around 140 years old.
Okay.
And actually, I was born here.
Wow.
Our family used to live here.
Wow.
But when we lived here, we had walls and ceilings,
Yep.
kitchen, and here was a living room,
Okay.
and the TV was there, and kitchen table was here.
Right.
Now it's just like this house used to be
Right.
more than 100 years ago.
It's kind of like a beautiful tea room space that you can come in and experience like a living room, but for other people to join and share in now too. It's gorgeous.
Here we display wide variety of our products,
Mm-hmm.
Junmai Yinjo, and mostly Japanese sake.
飲みたがるよ。
And here we have a plum liquor, plum,
Plum.
made from sake.
So like plum, ume.
Ume, yes.
Mm.
And
Amazake.
Amazaki. This picture is Takato Park.
Right.
Yes.
Just nearby.
Yeah. These girls, they are geisha.
Yes.
Actually,
Oh,
geisha.
right.
Yes. And this bottle,
Is the sake from here?
yeah, this bottle is our bottle.
Wow.
It's Senjo too.
That's an amazing photo memory.
So I can show you actually upstairs.
Okay, wonderful. The secret doors are so fun. Makes you almost feel like a ninja. Sneaking around in the back castle up the stairs.
This is a secret door.
A secret door to go up to the second floor. Oh, lovely.
Please mind the.
Okay. I'm a little bit tall.
Oh.
Oh, wow. So beautiful.
Here is a secret room.
Yes. Special.
Actually, we are inside the cooler.
Oh, yes.
Actually, this building was outside. It's wooden building, but inside here is this building. This room is a cooler, and then in the past, the sake workers who make sake used to stay throughout the winter.
Right.
Yes, and they used to sleep here.
To sleep here.
And had a dinner or lunch.
Right.
And downstairs.
Okay.
It's actually not very cold.
Right.
Even in the winter.
Even in the winter.
Because it's inside the cooler.
Exactly.
Here you can see when it was built.
Oh, wonderful.
6 years in Meiji.
Really great way to leave the historical record in the actual building itself.
Yes.
It would be a beautiful location to even have a wedding, right? The beautiful garden in the back for photos. So it's just a special private space for the family members to have kampai toast.
Actually, my grandfather's brother had a wedding here.
Yes?
This weekend. So we have lots of dishes and cups and so on.
Right. So many choco.
Ojoko.
So many choco needed, right?
Yes.
To enjoy the sake with so many people, friends and family.
This old cooler is for the guests.
That's
for the
beautiful.
guest room. That's nice.
Look at the big, thick doors. Wow, look at this. Such thick doors. It's like the perfect
Perfect. Yes.
picture.
So let's have a seat.
Who is this woman?
This is our family. She is my great-grandmother.
Great-grandmother. Wow. It's a beautiful photo of her.
This is a picture of our family. He is the founder of Senjo, and he is the second president. He is the third president, and this baby
Yes.
is the fourth president.
Fourth
Who
president.
is my grandfather?
Your grandfather.
This is just like it used to be when I was small.
So you must have played here as a little boy.
I think so. Yeah. I played badminton.
Badminton in the backyard. This was kind of your garden backyard growing up.
Kuromatsu is from the Kurogochi, our family name. The Matsu is from the Matsujiro. Name of the founder is Matsujiro. So Matsu comes from his name.
Right. So you've blended the two for the name of this.
Not me.
Not
but,
you, but right.
My grandfather.
You
Yeah,
combined the names to make the name of the sake.
Yes.
Great.
Senjo is from the name of the mountain
Okay.
in the southern Alps of
Right.
Japan. Japan Alps. The Senjo's jo in Japanese means brewing.
Brewing.
Okay, so now we have some sake.
Yay! Wonderful.
There are so many kinds of cups and glasses
Yes.
for drinking sake.
Yes.
Okay, and I will show you how we make sake. But
Great.
Now we have only 4
Okay.
types. This is. Do you know what it is?
Yes.
Amazake.
Amazake. Yes.
Amazake doesn't contain alcohol.
Right.
It's made from rice, water, and koji only. Which one do you prefer? Maybe this.
Oh, yeah, something that would look pretty to see the full flavor and the colors.
So, yeah, please taste.
Will you join me?
I know what it is.
You know what it tastes like. いただきます。So lovely sweetness, but it's not overpowering. It's a very gentle sweetness.
It's not sour.
Right.
It's not bitter.
Right.
It's just sweet. Very simple. Because the ingredients koji produces enzyme.
Yes.
Many kinds, more than 100 types of enzyme, which is very good for your stomach.
Right.
Yes.
The intestines.
Intestine. Too.
Intestinal health.
Yes, exactly. Okay, the next we call it dobroku.
Dobroku.
Unfiltered sake is dobroku.
Dobroku.
It has 6% alcohol.
So I will compare. So no alcohol, and then this is 6%.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, this. Okay. Have you tasted sake like this before?
I don't think so. No, I normally have the filtered sake. So this is probably the first time I've tried the non-filtered sake. It's very nice. It's very refreshing.
I think so. There are some bubbles inside.
Okay.
The bubbles coming from the fermentation.
It does have that little bit of, yes, okay.
We pasteurized this sake, so the bubbles, maybe most of the bubbles disappeared already. There are some
It's a
bubbles
little,
inside.
there's a hint
Yes.
of that lightness of the bubbles. Nice.
Let's go to real sake.
Okay.
After the fermentation goes until the alcohol percent came to 16% or more,
Okay.
then fermentation is almost finished. Then we filter sake.
Okay.
So by filtering we mean separating
Right.
transparent liquid and sake cask.
Right.
Sake lees. We call it lees. Sake lees.
Lees.
Try the
Ooh.
wine glass.
Oh,
This sake is very good with wine glass.
With a wine glass?
Yeah, that is the name of the award.
oh really? Okay.
はい。
いただきます。
はい。
So how do they decide which sake are best tasted in a wine glass versus otoko? What is there a reason?
What they do actually is just collect many sake and try sake with wine glasses.
Okay.
Then normally in Japanese sake competition, we use something like this.
Right.
So, but
It's a
when we
different
use,
texture and
texture,
feel.
and maybe aroma is coming. Maybe
Right. Well, I was.
more than
Mhm.
with this container.
It's a very lovely aroma.
This sake, we use rice which is available only in Nagano.
In Nagano Prefecture. Nagano Prefecture has the best rice. I think.
Actually, it is true. It's true. The rice has some is graded, first
Yes.
grade, second grade, third, and the percentage of first grade rice is the highest in Nagano
Yes.
for more than decades.
We have the most clean, beautiful water, right, from the Alps.
Yes, and also the altitude
The altitude.
is higher, so
Okay.
we have a continental climate,
Okay.
which means it's very cold at night, but very warm
Right.
through in
the
daytime
daytime.
hours. So it's very good for making good rice.
Now these two, are they for these to differentiate the
Yes.
rice?
Actually, it shows that how we polish
Okay.
rice. Originally, the rice.
Right.
It looks like this.
Unpolished.
Yes. But after we polish, we 70% polishing rate,
Okay.
which means that 30% are already gone.
Right.
This sake, in case of this sake, the 50% is gone.
50% polished.
Polished.
Wow.
Okay, finally,
Okay.
this is a umeshu.
Oh.
This is sake with a plum.
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 Mm.
It's very popular in Japan. This glass is very special. There are blue and white
Yes.
circle.
Circles on the bottom.
Do you know why it's like this?
No.
Why blue?
I've never asked. But it's true. Often you see that pattern
Pattern.
on the bottom of the. So why? Why does?
It has two purposes.
Okay.
The one is to see the color of the sake,
Okay.
because the background is white, then you
Mhm.
can see the color.
Right.
The second purpose is how it's transparent or not. You can see. If it is clouded,
Right.
you can't see the blue clearly. So you can see the color, and you can see it is clouded
The
or not.
cloudiness.
Cloudiness.
Nice.
Two functions.
Yes. That's also very lovely.
This is the end of the sake.
Delicious.
But do you want something special? For the, you want some local food?
This is getting.
You traveled all the way.
I
from
traveled all the way
Chikashi.
from Chikumashi, from northern Nagano.
So maybe you should try.
Local. Is there something that pairs well with
I
the
think
sake
so.
that
I think
I've
so.
tried?
I think so.
Okay.
One moment.
Great.
This is our local soul food.
Soul food.
Yes.
Local soul food. Okay.
It was very expensive.
What is this local delicatessen
Okay.
specialty that you've found to share with me?
Recently, it said that the protein is very precious.
Protein.
Protein,
Yes.
like meat.
Protein, yes.
Yes.
Different types of protein is really healthy.
Our ancestors in this local area used to take proteins from insects.
From the insects.
Yes. Or
These are insects.
insects.
Wow.
And this one is bee. Baby bee.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And this one is inago. Inago I cannot translate, but maybe
What is
later.
inago? Okay, we'll look it up because I don't know either.
Anyway, this one, maybe there is no English word for this.
There's no English word for this.
It's zazamushi.
Zazamushi.
I'm sure there is no
Okay.
translation.
Is it only found in Nagano
Only found
or in Japan?
in Nagano, I mean, only in Ina Valley.
In the Ina Valley.
around here.
Wow.
The point is that we don't want to taste these insects. So you just taste
The sugar.
the sweetness.
The
That's
sweetness.
all.
Okay.
That's it.
Which one do you suggest pairs with the baby bees?
Maybe umeshu.
Umishu.
This has some sweetness. So
Okay.
it goes very well.
Ganbare. Pleasantly surprised. That's actually quite nice. Let's try it with the umishu.
Actually, it's very good.
It's nice with the umeshu. The umeshu follows with a very nice hint that's brighter than the sweetness of the baby bees. So it lifts it, I feel like. New discovery.
I'm sure that it's very new to me.
Yes.
Next is so how about cricket with Japanese Alps?
Okay. Okay. All right. So, how do you suggest eating the cricket? Is it something that you
just
nibble at, or do you put the whole thing in your mouth? Okay, ready?
Maybe I have a bigger one.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay. Yeah, if you just don't think about it, it's quite nice actually. It's like a light snack. It's nice with, really nice with the sake.
The third one.
The third one, what is this?
As I said, this is Zanamushi.
Only in the
Maybe
Ina Valley.
Only in the valley. So maybe the umeshu and
The umeshu?
sake,
Okay.
both goes
Both
very well.
goes well. Okay. What is? Oh, they're very little.
Very little.
Okay. いただきます。頑張ります。There's a little bit of bitterness. Just a bit. Different from these two, the first two. It does have a little different aftertaste of the bitterness. So it would be good with probably the ume or the, well, any of them. It is nice with the umeshu.
We can imagine that it may have been very, very difficult to take the protein.
For sure. Certainly. Thank you. This was a really
So thank you for your
excellent
try.
experience. I am feeling a bit proud because I didn't think I would be able to eat insects, but there you have it.
Now you can.
Now I can, and it tastes lovely actually, and I really do like it with the sake, and also with the umeshu. It's really nice. If I wanted to trick my children, I would tell them it's raisins, right?
Maybe you can put it in the
Their cereal.
Bread? Oh, cereal.
And the cereal.
Cereal.
And the bread too. So some of you have had some great guesses. And I think we were still looking for the translation of, it's actually, I think, locusts, right? Did we confirm? For the second one that I had the opportunity to eat. It's okay. There's a translation offered here by Yuri. Rice locust. Oh, interesting. Okay, so we had some great guesses from those in the chat window. Some of you did. So inago tsukudani, interesting. Of course, insects. Good job, everyone. I would have never guessed that that's what I was going to be having paired. So it was a wonderful experience. And we'd love to take questions from the floor, either about the video you just saw or generally questions to date. And Mas, maybe you could help and support on any questions that come in.
Maybe this might be covered later, but they say, are there plans to export to Canada? Can you get this? I guess the question is, this is for the sake, but I imagine like, can you also do that for the insects as well? And also there's a comment that the Camelson College in Victoria has a ethnology course where students make dishes from insects. So it's not something that's uniquely Japan or Nagano or Asia, that there are actually start doing it here as well.
That's really interesting. Takashi-san, どうですか? 輸入品とか輸出品として is it possible to have Senjo's sake and or the lovely Ina insect delicacies sent to Canada?
number of producers of these insects for food is not so many. So maybe we need their help, but maybe in the future, yeah, possibly, yes.
Are there-
I have,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, there's another good question here. Is the water used for the sake meeting, is it hard water or soft water?
Soft water compared with the water in Europe, for example.
Mm.
We have a
And-
question also from Nagano Kyoko-san. What is the ratio of rice at Senjo? Is it 70% sake, 20% doburoku, 10% amazake? That's her question.
Percentage, maybe later. so Kyoko-san, maybe I'll talk to you later.
Okay, I think that's in the presentation later. So, maybe we could go on with the next part of the presentation, Jacky.
Sure, absolutely. And I think, now we have a wonderful opportunity to also do a little bit of a deep dive to look at some of the interesting individuals who are a part of the unique and innovative thinking and the people. Of course, companies are only as successful and only as innovative as they have innovative teamwork and innovative individuals who can contribute their ideas and move the company forward. So we did a little bit of a deep dive, and I had the opportunity to interview 3 key figures within Senjo, Senjo's operations and Senjo's team. So we'll have a video introducing the fruits of those interviews. 伊藤よしみさん、
はい、
洗浄の顧問ですね。
はい、
今日はよろしくお願いいたします。今78歳
になるところです。
になるところですね。で24歳の頃から洗浄との関わりが、
いやいや、関わりだけを言えば18からです。
18から。
はい。
そうしましたら大体60年
そう
弱
ですね。
のすごい東京農業大学に、
はい、
発酵の専門に、
そうですね、
研究
はい
4年間
そうですね
なさったことで、
はいはい、
でそこからまた伊那市に
伊那市っていうか2年間長野市に醸造試験場に行ってました。
行って
その後
こちらの方に到着、
はい、戻ってきました。
でその頃はまだ大学に行くこと自体は少なかったんですね。
うん、多分だいぶ少なかった、レアな方ですよね。
その若いのご自分はこれから酒の作り方についてのご興味はどのようなどこにありました？
もう私は基本的にもうこの道に行かなきゃいけないっていう自分で決めてましたんでね、そうなるといい形でお酒を作りたいなと。お酒を作り方っていうのは基本はもうできてるんです。その昔からの人たちがちゃんとやっててくれてたからね、これは醸造学的にもう確立されたお酒作りっていうのがあるんです。ただそれは今度は労働力的に酒蔵に入ってみて、ああこれは考えなきゃいけないなっていうのがあった。何を考えなきゃいけなかったと思います？労働集約的な労働体制だったもんだから、はい、これじゃあ今後ねお酒造りはもうやる人がなくなってくんじゃないか。だとしたら何をやりなきゃいけないと思います？機械化。どういうところでどういう形にどういうふうにしたらその生産力が上がって、はい、誰でも安心して作れる生産体制になるっていうこと、はいはい、これがと大事だと思いましたんで。
でも全部機械で解決できない部分と機械で解決できない仕事もありますよね。
もちろんそうです、だからそこら辺で大体できるものはそれでしていくと。それであとはね作り手のセンスっていうのが本当大事なんです。これはねその人の持っている固有のものがあるんです。そういうのがね持ち合わせていない人もいるわけ。だから経験だけがあるからって言って、その人が優秀でもないし若いからって言ってダメってこともない、若い人でもすごくそういうものができる。私は今ねうちの情報の方の新聞をやってる彼はそういうセンスが非常に持ってるいい男ですね。それが、まあ千住にとっては大変ありがたいなと思ってます。
ここの自分しか貢献できないタレントとか優秀な自分が一番上手な貢献できるポイントがみんな持ってるんですよね。でそれをやっぱり適切なところにそれを活かせるチャンスもらうと素晴らしいことが生まれてきますので、それはやっぱりこれからの多様な人材うまくみんな貢献できるような街づくりとか職場づくり、職場づくりは非常に重要ではないかと思いますね。
そうですね。そういう点ではね今の社長なかなか人集めがうまいなと思って。いやいやその人のねなんていうか能力なんかを生かせるような人材を集めてますね。そういう意味では優秀だなと思いますね。
で戦場に勤めていらっしゃる若者もいらっしゃいますし、もう70そろそろ8歳の方々もいらっしゃいますし、多様なご経験も混ぜると豊かな職場でアイディアの交換が飛んでる職場にも、その点ではやっぱり世代間交流も戦場ではありますし、
そんなのは乗り越えていけれるっていうものを作っていかないといかんと思うんですよね。ですからそういう意味ではね戦場なかなかいいと思いますよ。その人のパーツっていうか持ち前を生かしているわけですから、私はできるだけそうありたいと思ってましたので、いい形になっていると思いますね。
今日はよろしくお願いいたします。
よろしくお願いいたします。
黒口さん、戦場の取締役ですね。ご主人は社長で、そうすると2人でかなり革新がいろいろ取り込まれて、新しい商品出したり、酒の面白いイノベーションしたり、共に家庭内の子育てとか家族の中もいろいろ協力チームワークがとっても重要と思いますけれども、自分の歩んでいきたい道、自分の幸せの余裕があるような道、夫婦としてはそれをどうやって2人でバランスしてますか？
そうですね。まだ私も道を探しているところだなと思います。本当にそうですね。会社も私どもは会社も家庭ももう全部もう一つのものになっておりますので、お互いにこの不完全な人間お互いにいいところもあるしダメなところもあるからそれをうまくいくように補い合うっていうことを考えてますかね。で子供がおります2人おりまして、小学校6年生と、あと小学校4年生なんですね。でまず子供が一番心を落ち着けて幸せでいられるっていうことを主人も私もまず一番に、
例えば若い夫婦、
そうですね、
若い男性特に、でも若い女性も自由に自分の幸せとあえて、いい夫婦作り、いいチームワークを奨励するためには何かアドバイスか少し工夫というかありますか？
工夫ですね。 何でも話し合うことでしょうか。
家庭内の有意義に何でも話せる、で解決しましょうかっていう相互理解に向けてチームワークがあれ、それも信頼関係があると最終の目標がみんなそれを支えていきたい、心さえあれば何でも解決できるんじゃないかと思います。
そうですね。
おっしゃる通り。
はい。
はい、何でもじゃあ
何でも話し合うこと。
話し合うこと。
はい。
で前向きに解決する。
前向きに解決すること。そうですね。やっぱりそこに思いやりですね。
はい。
はい。
まあまたこれからの戦場の成長と戦場しか貢献できない何か面白いことありますか？
そうですね。そうですね。まずこうやってジャッキーさんとお知り合いになれたりして主人も留学経験とかもありますので日本酒の美味しさを海外に、はい、広めていけたらいいなっていうことは思いますね。
はい、はい、これからの
そうですね
チャンスじゃないですか。で国内のやっぱり多国籍の、住民、日本に山ほどいますので、そのような国内の豊かな多様性、多様な住民に紹介したりすると、そこから口コミで海外に渡るんじゃないですか。
そうですね。外国に行かなくても、
ジャ
ッキーさんみたいな方とお知り合いになって、いっぱいコミュニケーションを取って、
こういういいお酒、国内日本にせっかく日本に住んでる手に入れる稲までわざわざ足運んで来れるさまざま日本人も外国籍の住民でももうそれでもすごいやっぱり市場が拡大するためにはすごいいいチャンスと思います。
そうですね。
それもまたご活躍を祈ってます。応援してます。
ありがとうございます。
またよろしくお願いします。
はい、こちらこそよろしくお願いいたします。
今日は井上さん、井上佐藤さん、よろしくお願いいたします。少し戦場の裏側について少し理解したいと思ってます。井上さんは、社長の右足という面白い言い方ですけれども、右足という役割で人事のアドバイスとか、人間関係とか、一体感を作ったり、皆さんがうまく一緒に働けるような、それについて、一番難しいところから少し聞かせていただけますか？
多分、船長さんだけじゃなくてどこの会社も多分社長とか上司と部下って言いにくかったり伝えにくかったりするんですけど、僕みたいに違う会社の人が横から入ると、僕から見た社長とか僕から見た担当者とか僕から見た部長とかっていう目線が違うっていう、そういう役割ができたらなっていうふうに思って、船長さんとはもともと20年以上付き合いがあるので、ここ1年ちょっとそうやって斜めから見るみたいな。なので難しい人事とかそういう難しいことはしてなくて、仲介とか仲裁とかね、真ん中に入って一緒にやっていくっていう、そんなポジションだと思います。
やっぱり外の人間としては中立でいろいろ聞いたり、ちょっと一歩見てやっぱり一番前向きな解決策もそこから生まれてくる可能性も高いんじゃないですか。
ただそういう仕事っていうのはあんまりないので、働き方として僕みたいな働き方はないので、
やっぱりいい環境作り、心のインテリが非常に高い人しか実際に果たせないリーダーシップ役割が非常に本来とても重要だと思います。多分増えるんじゃないですか。
でも多分ね、あんまりできる人は少ないと思う。
できる人は少ない。
でも大体こういう僕みたいなポジションの人っていうのは社長っていうか会社から雇われていくので、会社側寄りなんですよ。で僕はそうではない。ちろん会社からお金もらってるんだけど、そういうポジションではないつもりで。
そうですね。戦場ではいろんな さまざまなご意見のある、ご経験のある男性女性、いろんな年齢層の豊かな企業と経験してまして、
多分その社長の場合は受け入れはたくさんしてくれるというか、いろんな人を受け入れる体制があるというか、でいろんなもちろん入って出たいみたいなことの時期もあったけれども、今残ってくれた人っていうかね、いてくれる人はやっぱり少なくとも社長の意見というかね、方針にはそんなめちゃめちゃ反対な人はいなくて、だから来る人は拒まないというかね、そういうところもあるので多分僕も入れたんじゃないかなというふうに思うんですけど、だから結局今いる人たちとどういうふうにパズルっていうとちょっと語弊がありますよね。どういうふうに配置してどうやって働いてもらうと一番みんなが幸せかみたいなことは黒社長は考えてらっしゃると思います。
ある程度皆さんがその戦場の目標、これから狙ってるビジョンに興味を持ってそこに貢献したい、ただの仕事じゃなくて、もう本当に信じてる。でそれがすごいこれからのエキサイティングで、やっぱり新しい発見の酒の業界では面白い戦場しか貢献できないこういう社長のビジョンがあるからこそ面白いとか。
ただ社員全員が同じ方向に向いてますっていうと、ここではかっこいいと思うんですけどそういうわけにはいかなくて、やっぱり社長がいて管理職っていうかねいて、普通に働いてくださってる人がいらっしゃって、でその人たちにやっぱりどうやって順番に今やってることを下ろしていくかって、やっぱそれ難しい問題なので、それぞれのメンバーにいろいろ頼みながら、それは上手にやろうとしているバランスと
キャリアの成長、キャリアの成長がないとやっぱり降りてしまう。わかりました。ご活躍も本当に期待してるし、応援してるし、また千曲市にはぜひ遊びに来ていただきたいのでよろしくお願いいたします。
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。So we hope that you were able to get a glimpse of the unique perspectives, the diversity of age, generation, and obviously gender diversity and different types of roles within the company that those at Senjo are trying to create new opportunities and I think new ways of building teamwork that respect work-life balance and also allow a diversity of perspectives to enrich the team-based conversations. We've had some interesting questions rolling in to the chat window. I think one of the things that I've experienced and seen in Japan over the last 25 years is really just the change in how we understand and situate the importance of having diverse perspectives and diverse lived experiences to enrich how we drive innovation within our business strategies and with our company environments. Mas, would we want to pick up some of the questions that are in the chat now?
Okay, let's take some interesting. Here's one, just what you're mentioning about, is there a shift for more women to be able to get into executive leadership positions in companies, do you see?
Maybe I can field that one, and if Takashi wants to add. I think there's been a lot more conversation in the last 10 to 15 years in particular around the importance of having more diversity everywhere from in baseline employment levels of equal numbers of new grads, women and men, which is shifting all the way up to corporate board diversity. There's only about 6% women in listed companies in Japan on corporate boards, so we do have a long ways to go. There's definitely more interest and more conversation. We don't have necessarily strong compliance mechanisms, so companies generally have to disclose to say how many they have, and they're supposed to comply with getting different levels of percentages depending on the company, what level of the company in terms of the government goals. But if you can't achieve those goals, you're given an opportunity to simply explain why you couldn't achieve the goal. So the compliance mechanism is a little bit too weak to really generate a huge behavioral shift, but there is certainly something that's talked about a lot more and understood as an imperative for business competitive edge, definitely more in the last 10 to 15 years.
With a question with Takashi-san is, why did you decide to take these new ideas? You have decided to take steps so that the workplace is more diverse It's more welcome to new ideas. What made you decide to do that?
I don't think that I'm trying anything special to be our company diverse. The advisor that you saw in the video, he was in our company for more than 60 years. So maybe he will be in our company maybe in 1 or 2 years. And I'm not doing anything special. I'm just looking for people who works for us. And that's all.
I think Takashi is a bit modest. I mean, honestly, it's often difficult for individuals at a certain age. They're expected to retire, and there's not an opportunity to contribute in the companies where they worked for a long, long time, and they in some ways are phased out prematurely and don't have the opportunity to continue. So the fact that you've found this unique way to keep diversity, perspectives, and all the way to, senior members who've contributed over 60 years, that you've kept them in the company and found a place for them, I think is actually quite remarkable and worth observing and being proud of. So I think it is special.
Yeah. Here's a question. You studied at the London School of Economics. Have your experience in the UK changed your perspective about how companies should be run?
Okay, this question Jacky was planning to ask me later, but maybe I should answer.
Go ahead. Now. Go ahead.
Okay. May I share the slide? And I stayed in London for 2 years and studied international history. I spent most of the time in the library, and I had many friends from all over the world. And now I came back to my hometown. And when I left Tokyo for London, most of my friends from universities were already started working for a bank, working as a diplomat or working as a consultant. At that time, coming back to hometown and spend the rest of my life in inner city, it didn't sound exciting to me. But after I studied in London and after I came back to my hometown, now I feel that Japan is such a great country with a long history, and now I appreciate that hometown is so important and family history is so important. I'm now very proud of doing family business. And in the year 2001, I didn't imagine that we will export our sake to many countries. So definitely my life in London changed me in some way.
We often talk about in regional, right, Takashi, I think what's so unique is, in Japan, in rural revitalization, community building, we talk about to get new ideas to come in and revitalize the regions. We talk about the need for young people, wakamono, outsiders, yosomono, and bakamono, the sort of crazy people, crazy people with new off the charts ideas. And I think it's so interesting that, and often until we leave our home country and go away and then speak with people and look at our country from a distance, from afar, become an outsider from our own country and see it through the eyes of people in London, for example, in your case, and their view of, wow, you get to inherit this amazing sake brewery and you get to lead that next phase in the Reiwa era. Like how exciting that is to them. But for you, it was kind of, it's like, you take it for granted. And I think that's so special and just drives home the importance of having that, the different perspectives, the wakamono, yosomono, bakamono, because it does change the way that our perspective can take into see all the blind spots of our thinking in such unique ways. I think that also impacted how you then thought about your sake production and what kinds of things you were going to be challenging and maybe opening up the ideas beyond just being a sake maker. Can you talk a little bit about how that different perspective that you gained when you were abroad changed maybe the way and the new ideas you brought back to Senjo?
I'm not sure that the studying in London changed me in my way of doing management, but let me explain a little bit about what I did since I came back to my family business. As I explained that I be back, we already Senjo made only Japanese sake, but now we have many kinds of products. But actually, what we are doing is not doing new things. We are just doing trying to make the best of what we have. For example, we used to make shochu. Can you see that this is a distilling machine? When we distill sake, then we get shochu. But now we apply the same technique to a new product to make craft gin. Craft gin with a cherry blossom aroma. We use local cherry blossoms leaves. As I said, that inner city is very famous for cherry blossoms. And even in our brewery gardens, there are more than 30 trees. So we macerate leaves in alcohol, and maybe after 10 days, alcohol will absorb aroma of cherry blossoms. Then after that, we distill the alcohol. Then we get a purer aroma of the cherry. So we are applying knowledge that we have to a new category of products. That is how we diversify product portfolio.
Great. And I think, I think you've also even moved into other types of hand sanitizer as a completely different product as well that can be used. So diversification of your offerings to the market is an interesting way that I think under your leadership, you've really moved forward to expand market share and certainly then have a more diversity of options for consumers to consider and think about for your brand. So that's really interesting. Mas, I think we have some more questions. May I ask you to bring those forward?
Yeah, sure. Just to, is your sake better cold or hot? Takashi-san.
It's up to the type of sake, but basically, it's good to drink sake cold, or maybe room temperature, not too cold.
Mm-hmm. Okay. There was a question about, is Senjo sake available at Narita Airport? And you said that it's not possible, but where would be closest in Tokyo or somewhere in Tokyo you could buy your sake?
There are many places, but maybe I'll put the places to buy Senjo after this session is finished, maybe on Facebook or maybe SNS.
Okay, wonderful. Oh, here's the final question. What is the difference in sake? What is the difference between the sake made in Japan and USA?
The sake, it's up to the brewery, but generally speaking, the sake made in USA, of course, is made in a large amount. And in Japan, there are more than 1,000 small breweries.
Over time, so I'll just ask you some quick questions, and we will wrap the session up.
The sake made in Japan,
okay,
is like a
here is something. Oh, there's a question.
With handmade koji.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned that many of them are very small operators, family-owned operators. Okay, all right. So thank you very much for the sessions, Jacky, Takashi-san. And we actually have an audience in the audience, Yuka, who is actually is a resident of BC, but is actually from the Ina Valley area. So hello, could you, yeah, thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
So, I was wondering if she had actually eaten all of the local delicacies that I had eaten. I was wondering, have you had that experience, or did you grow up on those local delicacies?
Yes, I was grown up this because my father is always chasing bee, and I was joined to my father And Senjo is my father's favorite sake. He only drink for the sake. So that's for my spirit of the, father through the father for the Senjo. That's why I thought today, I never met for any Inadani people since I came Canada. So I was, oh my gosh, I can see. And then Takato, whatever, who can be connected with me? And right away, I answered and then they connect for me. Thank you so much. And I miss in Shimoina and Takato around province. Yes.
But unfortunately, you cannot get the Senjo sake here in Canada.
Yeah, it's not yet. And even Tokyo, I didn't see Senjo was available as an often place. So I was wonder why.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time. Much appreciated. So we have to wrap up tonight's session. So can I ask Sammy Takahashi to say the closing remarks?
Sure. Thank you all for watching today's Okuni Jiman presentation. My name is Sammy Takahashi. I'm the president of Japan-Canada Chamber of Commerce. We are the co-sponsor of the Okuni Jiman I Love My Hometown events. I want to take this opportunity to thank Jacky Steele and Takashi Kurogochi for organizing this fantastic presentation today. Nagano is a rich and dynamic prefecture. We were pleased to bring part 1 featuring Senjo Brewery in the beautiful Ina Valley. Please stay tuned for part 2, which is coming within the next few months, hopefully, when Takashi Kurogochi visits Jacky Steele in northern Shinshu and visits Enjoy, which is run by Jacky Steele. Enjoy offers unique Japan's Canadian style, diversity, equity, and innovation training and retreat space in Chikuma City. I hope to see you again at the next Okuni Jiman event soon. Thank you very much. 皆さん、本日は、Okuni Jimanイベントをご覧いただきましてありがとうございました。本日のプレゼンテーションを、ご用意いただいたジャッキー・スティールさん、黒河内、ごめんなさい、黒河内貴さんに、厚くお礼を申し上げます。長野県は自然がとても豊かなところです。本日はパート1として美しい灘にある蔵元の戦場を紹介していただきました。次回は今後数ヶ月後にですね、パート2として、黒河内さんにジャッキーさんの住む北信州の千曲市を訪問していただき、ジャッキーさんが主催しているエンジョイという会社でですね、日本ではまだ少ない多様性、公正、革新をトレーニングするその様子を、紹介していただきたいと思います。皆様本当に今日はありがとうございました。また次のお国自慢イベントでお会いしましょう。ありがとうございます。